Good morning and welcome to Senior Circuit. And we have a great guest with us, and we're going to be talking about electricity. I know you're all going to be dying to hear about electricity, but I'm sure you'll be enthralled with all the good information that we're going to share with you today. So today I have Christine Andrews with me. And Christine, tell us a little your title first of all, because it's really long. It's like 8 words, and I don't know how you put it even on your business card. But share with us what you do and what your title is at the Office of Housing and Stability.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Well, thank you for having me, Cindy. I'm excited to be here. I'm Christine Andrews. I'm the Housing Environment Programs Coordinator with the City of Somerville Office of Strategic Planning and Community Development Housing Division, and I primarily work on the Lead Paint Safe Somerville program and the energy efficiency and renewable energy programs for residents of Somerville.
And where do you work out of?
I work out of the City Hall Annex at 50 Evergreen Avenue.
So we're talking about electricity and all these bills, and people have been knocking at the doors. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on. But tell me, Christine, what is it about competitive electricity?
So competitive electric.
What does that mean?
Right, that's a great question. We get these phone calls all the time. So competitive electric suppliers supply electricity to residents of Massachusetts if they opt in to receive their services. They're distinct from Eversource, which is the investor-owned utility that supplies Somerville with the distribution services such as the poles and wires that deliver the electric supply to our homes.
And we also have community choice electricity.
Yes.
That's important. So tell us a little bit about that.
So there's 3 ways that Somerville residents can receive their electricity in Somerville. The first is through community choice electricity. You may have heard that Somerville has a community choice electricity program like many towns and cities in Massachusetts. That program allows Somerville to keep electric rates low and stable for residents. The best part about the program is we don't need to do anything to participate in it. Everybody that is not receiving electricity from a competitive electric supplier is automatically opted into the program. The city will never go knock at your door, they'll never send a letter, and they will never call you requesting bill information or requiring action to sign up for the program. Everybody's automatically in.
So let's just back up just a little bit, because a couple of years ago they did send a letter and said to everybody, if you want to opt out, do X, Y, Z.
Yes.
And if not, you'll be in Somerville's competitive community Somerville's community choice electricity.
Right, correct.
And many people did do that and just didn't do anything and was brought into this program,
correct.
Which is wonderful. But then people started knocking at doors. And that's the difference between the competitive and community. Is that correct?
Correct. So Somerville has procured their own electric supplier so that residents can receive low and stable rates. Competitive electric suppliers, on the other hand, have not been procured from the city. They are not representing the city or the utility, and they use some of them use aggressive sales tactics, as you mentioned, in the hopes of gaining confused and intimidated customers. They tend to target communities that have community choice electricity programs, and then they also target low-income homes, senior dwellings, and homes that have English, that speak English as a secondary language. And they try to get you to sign up for their programs by demanding your utility bill. And the fact is, you know, electricity plays such a pivotal role in our lives today, and we do not need to make a choice on the spot about who our electric supplier is. And people could just ask for more information and then think about it later and get all the facts. But we do not need to be intimidated by salespeople.
And we're certainly going to talk a little bit more about
Absolutely.
that. But why did Massachusetts decide on having these different types of choices of electricity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in 1997, Massachusetts, like many states at the time, it was kind of a trend in the 1990s and early 2000s, decided to deregulate their electric supply market. The idea behind it was to increase competition with the vertically integrated investor-owned utilities such as Eversource and National Grid, who were the electric suppliers of that time. The idea with increasing competition, of course, as we know from Economics 101, is that prices might go down for consumers. So as Massachusetts has and still had and still does have, you know, some of the highest electric rates in the country, lawmakers decided to try deregulation as a method to decrease these prices. So that's why we have a deregulated electric supply market.
And what would be the potential benefit of having a competitive?
So the potential benefits are more flexibility and more choice for consumers. And this can be through what types of rates you're receiving. So is it a fixed rate? Is it a variable rate that changes over time? How long is the contract? And what's the renewable energy content that you're going to be receiving from a competitive electric supplier?
So that's a lot of good information, and we're going to come right back to that. But this is when you get your pen and paper and write down all the great events that we have happening at the Council on Aging. Our calendar of events is coming right up. Those events are wonderful. We're already talking about Christmas, can you believe it? But the year is going by. We're already down the first quarter of the year. So we're here with Christine Andrews, and we're talking about competitive electricity and community electricity and benefits. What are the risks of taking somebody knocking at your door and saying, I have this great plan for you and you need to sign up right now?
Right. So some of the risks of signing a contract with a competitive electric supplier that we've seen is that you might not actually save money at all. The Attorney General's office, Maura Healey's office, recently released an analysis that says that between July of 2015 and June of 2017, residents of Massachusetts spent $170 million more than they would have by signing up for electricity by signing up with a competitive electric supplier rather than just staying with Eversource's basic service rate. Now, this study did not factor in, municipal aggregation programs like community choice electricity, and it also did not look at the commercial benefits to competitive electric suppliers. It just looked at residential homes and basically found that just in the last year of the city alone, households spent on average $224 more than they would have spent if they would have just stuck with Eversource's basic service rate versus going with a competitive electric supplier. And that number increased to $252 a year. That's 17% higher if the household was a low-income household. So there's definitely a big risk there. The other risks could include some terms in the contract that might seem really great up front, and there might be a lower introductory rate, but then the rate can change over time. So there's lots of questions that you should make sure that you get the answers to if you are thinking about signing a contract with a competitive electric supplier.
The other thing is some of the seniors have told us that there's a penalty.
Correct.
So share what that information is.
Yeah, so maybe I should is this a good time to just go down the list? So,
yeah, let's get on the list.
Okay, so the first question you should ask is, what is the price per kilowatt hour? And you should compare it with the community choice electricity rate that Somerville offers and Eversource's basic service rate. You should also ask if that rate is variable or fixed, and how long the contract contract is for. And if that rate changes once the contract ends. So a lot of contracts can auto-renew, and when that contract auto-renews, sometimes the next version has a higher rate. Right. So that's when it can get a little messy. Another thing to ask is, how do you cancel a contract and what their cancellation fee is. A lot of these contracts have a cancellation fee, so you should definitely make sure you know, one, how to cancel a contract, and two, how much it's going to be. And then you could also ask, what the renewable energy content is. A lot of them will, offer a higher renewable energy content rate, but then it won't be from a locally sourced renewable energy source. It could be from like a wind farm in Texas or something like that, and it wouldn't be as valuable to us in our community here. So definitely ask, where the renewable energy is coming from and how much what percentage of the supply it is. The other thing that you should be aware of is that if you do sign a contract, you have 3 days under Massachusetts law to cancel that contract. So if you think about it overnight and decide the next day, hey, you know what, I think I made a mistake, this isn't for me, just call them and cancel. That's totally your right under Massachusetts law. You have 72 hours until after you cancel a contract.
We also are going to be putting this information into our newsletter. Great. And maybe one of the things we can work with, Christine, is putting the questions down and mailing it out to people. And people who are interested can call our office at the city number 617-625-6600, extension 2300, and we can send those questions out.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about, now that we know what to ask, what happens when they come to our door? Because what are some of the things that's been happening to clients is they've been strong-armed. And I'm sure there are very nice people out there who want to give very good information. But some of the tactics have been really difficult that we've been seeing. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Definitely, yeah. And I know that a lot of people have experienced, I know that you and I have experienced this personally. Somebody comes to your door and demands to see your electric bill. Now, the way that community electric suppliers can get you to sign up for their program is if they have your utility account number. So that's why they're asking for that. If somebody comes to your door and claims that they are from Eversource or from the city of Somerville, and they're demanding your electric bill or requiring an action from you immediately, please know that they are not representing the city of Somerville, no matter what they say. What I would suggest is that if somebody does come to your door, you can either have a no soliciting sign that can help deter them.
Why don't we hold that up just for a second so that they can really get a good picture of that. That's a great sign you can pick up at Tags, Home Depot. I even think Walgreens has a no soliciting sign, so CVS probably has them. But great to hang up on your door, because we did figure out that if that is up there, they do not have the right to knock at your door.
Correct, right. And it's technically like not enforceable under Somerville's current ordinance, but they should definitely, it is in the ordinance and they should definitely obey the sign. And if you do have a complaint or, you know, would like to report any suspicious behavior, you may call the, and you're not in immediate danger, call the non-emergency line for the Somerville Police Department. The canvassers that go door to door for these companies should have a permit under Somerville's ordinance. They're required to apply for one and receive one before they go door to door. So you can always call the Somerville Police Department and ask them to check out the situation if you feel that's necessary. You can also just, what I would recommend personally is just not answering the door. You can, if you'd like, you can speak through the door and ask them to leave a card or send you something in the mail for later that you can look at later. Because like I said, like electricity is essential to our well-being, and we do not need to make any split-second decisions on that, and we can take as much time as we need. You do not need to succumb to the pressure that the salesmen are putting on you or put yourself in that awkward position with them. The other thing to do is if you get a phone call, you could do something similar, just let a good voicemail or ask them for a callback number or a website that you can check out for later. If you do get something in the mail that you're a little unsure of, you could just call 311. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. If you're interested in the Somerville CCE program, you could go to the Community Choice Electricity Program. You could go to somervillecce.com also. And what else am I missing?
Well, the other thing I wanted to share is that if you do happen to open the door and don't realize what it is, they are supposed to carry a little ID or something, or a permit that says they're able to solicit and knock at your door. Not that they're allowed to solicit, but they're allowed to knock at your door. What we ask is that if they don't have it, say, I just want to make sure that everything's okay. If you could just wait here, I'm going to call the police to just check on you. A, that may get them to run away really quick.
That's great.
And B, it gives you a chance to kind of get your thoughts together and think before you act or react.
Correct. Right.
And you do, as Christine said, you don't have to make a decision today. Call us, talk to 311, talk to Christine's office, and we'll be putting Christine's number up. But we want to make sure that you have all the information.
Right.
Sometimes they're saying, you got to do it now. If you don't do it now, you're not going to get the price. Well, you know what? You may get a better price.
Right.
So stop, think, don't make that decision. Same thing we tell you, don't give out your Social Security card, don't give out your Medicare number, don't give out your bills, don't give that information out. Now, one of the questions that we're going to ask is, how do we know if we have community choice or not? But we're going to get right back to that, because at this moment, we're going to show you a little bit about a St. Patrick's Day party that we had with the mayor. We'll be right back.
Can he pour the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must fight. Oh, another day I was and nothing with So these are calendars that a regional youth AAU baseball team has out. And you may have already won because it already started, but they'll be holding the money. So we're going to draw a bunch of these. How many do we have? 20. 20. Myself and the district attorney will start announcing them. So
to be in this new space. I hope we'll all be together for lots of St. Patrick's Days here, enjoying this. So thanks for having me. Thanks to Cindy, to all the officers who are here, everybody who put this together, made dinner for you. They do an amazing job. I'm really happy to be here. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
We had such a great time at our St. Patrick's Day party. Now I want to show you a great event we had up at Holland Street when we had somebody come in and talk about World War II letters, and it was a great moment. So we'll be right back after you see this message.
And I wouldn't have known this except that Louis mentions it in his letters. And his first postcard to my mother was dated in March of '44. And he says, I'm in the medical department and in a medical battalion, and our training starts on Monday and lasts for 17 weeks. He got sent to a training camp in Texas, and then he learned how to be an X-ray technician. They sent him to Fitzsimmons General Hospital in Denver, Colorado. He had the basic field manual and the soldier's handbook. He had the Fitzsimmons General Hospital handbook, where they got their medical training. He even had the basic field manual of first aid for the soldiers. He had quite a number of photo albums, and they had the Army insignia on it. So the Army was encouraging them to take photographs. And when you opened them up, there were slots so that you could put your photographs in them. And on his, when you turned them over, they all had the names of the people and where they were and everything that was on there.
Well, welcome back. We're here with Christine Andrews, and we're talking about knowing your electric bill, who should you have. We have a great event coming up on May 2nd. I'll let you show that.
Sure.
It's May 2nd, and it's going to be at the Holland Street site at 10:30. We'll have a great lunch afterwards, and it really is knowing your electric bill and the scams that are out there. We're going to have some information from the AG's office, and we'll have you there. And is Oliver coming? And
yeah,
Oliver's coming?
Oliver Sellers Garcia, the Director of Sustainability, is going to be presenting a how to read your electric bill discussion, and he'll be able to tell you how to know if you're on Somerville's Community Choice Electricity Program. And the Attorney General's office is also sending some representatives down to talk about consumer protection and competitive electric suppliers.
And it's a pretty important week. So what week is that?
That's Sustainability Week.
Tell us what that's all about really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So Somerville has a goal of becoming net zero carbon neutral by 2050. And every year around Earth Week, we do something, our own kind of brand of Earth Week called Sustainability Week, where we celebrate all of the efforts that the city and our residents have taken to help us reach our goal of carbon neutrality, and talk about what we can do in the year ahead.
And what are some other things that they can do that you work with besides the electric bill?
Yeah, so my office offers different programs for energy efficiency, renewable energy, and also home rehab projects too. So that program is called the Somerville Home Rehab Program, and it's a 0% interest forgivable loan for homeowners and their tenants' units to do any kind of cosmetic work with the units, and also increase the energy efficiency of your units as well. It's an income eligible program, and you can talk to myself or my colleagues in the housing division about that. We have a heating system program that again is income eligible. It's a 0% interest forgivable loan to replace a homeowner's heating system. And then the Mass Save program is a statewide program that's funded by a charge on our utility bills, speaking of utility bills, and it allows everybody to get that's paying into the charge to get a no-cost home energy assessment. So if you're in Somerville and you're paying an electric or a gas bill, you qualify for the program. It provides homeowners with 75% off of insulation, up to and a 0% interest heat loan if you qualify for it. That can be used for qualifying windows, qualifying heating systems, air source heat pumps if you're interested in getting air conditioning as well. Insulation, and lots of other different products. So you can definitely go to our website, it's somervillema.gov/SEEN for more information, or you can call our office.
Christine, how does somebody know, because we're going to be talking about it, and there's a whole lot of information that they can bring their bills, and we'll explain it all to them, and we hope they do bring their bills the day of May 2nd. But how do they know if they're on the city program? So
there's two ways to find out. You can look at your bill and see who the supplier is. I think it's at the top right corner. That's also online as well. Eversource has a breakdown online of which area of your bill to look at to see who's supplying your electricity, so you could follow their instructions as well. You can also call 311 or go on the city's website, somervillecce.com, and call the number for our current electric supplier to see who's supplying the city's energy, and just make sure with them that you're getting their supply. You can also opt in with them to get 100% renewable energy for your home, and for that you'd have to contact our supplier as well.
Well, it sounds like there's a really good way for us to save money, and especially with somebody who's on a fixed income, it's important to do that. The event on May 2nd will be really important for everybody to come, bring their bill, talk about it. You know, you need to sign up, so just call the Council on Aging. We'll sign you up. There'll be a great lunch, and we'll have some coffee and tea and stuff, so you'll be able to come in and really get some good information. Mm-hmm. Christine, if there's one important piece of information you'd want them, the viewer, to think about, what would that be?
I know for myself, if I had to share one thing with everybody, it would be that I can get very flustered if somebody is in my face demanding that I do something, and you can feel kind of rushed in the moment and feel really pressured. But I implore you to not feel pressured by salespeople that are coming to your door or calling you or sending you letters promising this really great deal and pressuring you to do it, as Cindy said, right today. Our electricity bills are really important because we have lots of different electronics, and we have more and more every day. If people are electrifying their homes through our air source heat pump program, Heat Smart, Cool Smart, it becomes even more critical. So just, I implore you to just, take a second, think about it, and just say, no, not today, I have to think about this, and don't make a split-second decision if you are approached by a competitive electric supplier. And if you have been, and you want to make a complaint to the Attorney General's office, a formal complaint, you can go on the state website and make a complaint, or you can call the Attorney General's office directly and do that.
I like to tell our clients, blame it on me. Say the Council on Aging won't let me sign anything. I have to talk to my social worker, or my son makes all those decisions, or my daughter makes all those decisions, and I really can't make that. Give me all the information. I can't make that decision right now. I have to talk it over with somebody else.
Right.
And that takes you away from the pressure a little bit,
right,
and puts it on somebody else. The onus is on your daughter or son or the Council on Aging. Blame me for everything. It's okay. But it's important to, as Christine said, and as I've been saying, don't give them information.
Right.
If they don't see that bill, and they don't get your number, they can't make any changes.
Treat it like a credit card.
Treat it like a credit card, exactly. We should never give out our personal information. We should never give out our information for any accounts, because you never know what they're going to do with it.
Right.
So we encourage you to come on the 2nd. It's important to really bring your bill in, understand it. I looked at my bill last night and I was like, oh, there's way too many things here to have. So I'm definitely bringing my bill in.
Awesome.
So you can explain it to me. We want to thank you so much for coming, Christine.
Thank you for having me.
And the no soliciting sign is great. We're going to show you that one more time. We also want to put your number up, Christine, so if you could tell them how to reach you.
Sure. So it's Christine Andrews. You can reach me at 617-625-6600, extension 2567. My email is candrews, like Candrews, at somervillema.gov, and my office is on the first floor, City Hall Annex, 50 Evergreen Avenue in Somerville.
Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of great information. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. We have a great event on May 2nd. I can't push it enough. We're going to have all those questions that Christine was saying, telling you what to ask an electric supplier. We'll put that in our newsletter. We'll put it on our website. Maybe, Christine, you can put it up on your website as well. And we want you to be an informed consumer. Don't think you have to make a decision today, because you don't. Electricity is going to be here forever. So, in our future anyways. So we want to make sure that you really are making really educated decisions. So hope it was helpful for you today. Until next month, have a great day and a great month, and we'll see you next month. We have a great guest. You'll really want to tune in.